Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Today we have learning from Rav Moshe on the Torah, Rav Moshe on the Chumash from Parshas Chukas. Let's take a look at it. Okay. Giving credit. So let's see what it would say about giving credit. V'yikchu elecha para aduma tMitzvah, and they shall take it to you, a completely red heifer. Unesatem oso el Elazar HaKohen, you shall give it to Elazar the Kohen. 19, that's the parak 19, and the psukim 2 and 3. That's in Bamidbar. So you should take a completely red heifer, and then let's take a look at it. And this, okay, Rashi explains that the phrase "v'yikchu elecha" and that they shall take to you. Take to you. What does it mean by take to you? I.e., Moshe means that the first para aduma will always be known as the heifer prepared by Moshe. In other words, the ashes of the red heifer, of the red cow, it's a completely red cow, completely red hair. So this was, it's burnt, and then the ashes are mixed, and put in. Then, when somebody is impure, so they take some of the ashes, they put it in water, and it's sprinkled on that person. So, and that purifies the person. But the entire Torah, so it says that this para adoma, this red cow, will always be known as the heifer prepared by Moshe. But the entire Torah was given to us through Moshe, and it is all ascribed to him. What was unique about the para aduma? Kali Yakar suggests that since para aduma served as an atonement for the sin of the egel, the Kali Yakar says that since the para aduma, the red heifer, was an atonement for the sin of the egel, the sin of the golden calf. And Moshe had begun the process of atoning for that sin by destroying the calf. He destroyed the egel, he destroyed the idol of the calf. That was the beginning of the atonement for that sin. He was now given the singular privilege of completing the process through the para aduma. So this way he would be able to complete the process. However, the next pasuk tells us that the heifer was given to Elazar, the son and deputy of Aaron, because the mitzvah to prepare it was Elazar's. Additionally, that pasuk begins with the plural form of the word "you." In other words, it's in Hebrew it can be ato, you, or atem. Atem means you, plural. In other words, when you're speaking to more than one person, you say atem, you. So it says atem, the plural. And Rambam suggests that Elazar had the honor of joining Moshe in giving the heifer to Elazar. Aaron had the honor of joining Moshe in giving the heifer to Elazar. If so, why is the para aduma attributed to Moshe? In other words, if Aaron is also giving the heifer to Elazar, who would prepare it, so then why does it say that it's attributed to Moshe? There is a halachic concept of omed al gabov, standing on top of the person. In other words, a qualified person supervising someone else performing a mitzvah to ensure that it is done properly. So it's called Omed, is a halachic concept of Omed al Gabav. Omed is standing, al Gabav, on top of the person. And so, in other words, supervising the person in order to show that it's done the correct way. This first para aduma was so significant, it was not enough for only Aaron and Elazar to be involved. It required Moshe, who had been taught the Torah directly by Hashem, to oversee his preparation. And that is why it is considered the heifer that Moshe made. In other words, Moshe is the ultimate authority. In other words, he learned it from Hashem, so directly from Hashem. So this is the halachic concept of Omed al Gabav, a qualified person supervising someone else performing a mitzvah to ensure that it is done properly. So Moshe, who had been taught the Torah directly by Hashem, to oversee its preparation, and that is why it is considered the heifer that Moshe made. Although many people may be needed for an undertaking, the project can rightfully be attributed to the one individual who is responsible for it. Indeed, many craftsmen were involved in building the Mishkan, but it was Bezalel who ensured that the work was being done properly. So he is credited as its builder, Shemos 37:1, 38:22. So in other words, of course, many craftsmen are building the Mishkan, but the one that's really taking the responsibility for everything, he's the one that's credited. And the same thing with Moshe Rabbeinu. He gave it to with his brother Aaron, to Aaron's son Elazar, to prepare the heifer. But still, Moshe Rabbeinu learned it directly from Hashem, all of these dinim and the chukim, the dinim, the mitzvahs which we do not understand. So he the one that's really responsible is the one that is credited as so this will be considered the heifer prepared by Moshe. The need for someone to take responsibility is particularly true of Torah institutions. Although many Torah scholars are involved in the yeshiva, there must be one person who is accountable and oversees everything to ensure that it is done properly. So that's the same concept, that the one that's really doing the supervising, the real work of making sure everything gets together, he's the one that gets the credit, and he's also accountable. And he has to oversee everything to make sure everything is done properly, be done correctly. Yeshikayach, thank you very much. Thank you. Zeit Matzliach.